Raya. Yeah, we're having a reaction video this time. It's internethistorians become fancy theater. It has like 3 parts, where like one is the wine and one is the, what is it calling, and the last one that's here. Oh my god, I can't remember. Oh, oddities. Yeah, that one. So like, we're gonna go through it, we're gonna watch it and react a little bit to it, okay? Waiting. Yes.
Brought to you by NordVPN.
Classical. Put up the sound a little bit.
Tisk, tisk, tisk. Look at you. Uncultured. Unsophisticated.
I'm sophisticated.
Middle class. No, don't speak. You'll just make me throw up. I'd say cover up with this dinner jacket, but I'm afraid that you'd get your head stuck in the sleeve and asphyxiate.
I feel like I would do that, yeah.
Lowborn, don't you want to be refined?
Refined.
Don't you want to be
Yeah, I want to be
like
refined.
moi? That's French. I don't expect you to know what it means, but I have some good news.
I
Before
love
this
French.
financial year ends, I have decided to make a charitable deduction.
How kind
It's
of you.
you, champ. For you see, I...
You can have premarital sex.
This virus. I have made several videos, though, which will show you how to bluff your way to the inner circles. Undetected.
I feel like I'm a very
Yeah.
unrefined
By the
person.
time the elites find out,
Neon Genesis
Oh, you're
Evangelion is psychological and intense.
it will be too late. I get you in, you eat all the hors d'oeuvres, and we get out. That's the plan. And let's begin your instruction with... theater.
Yeah.
The YouTube premium of upper society.
I used to love theaters.
And the first section?
It's got a lot of them before.
Symphony.
Remind me of the like Nokia I
The
used
first
to have.
period of performance. That's called Baroque. From 1600 to 1750. This featured Bach and
Baroque.
Vivaldi. Now, there was also a guy named Giuseppe Tartini, and he was the best one of them all, because one evening he had a dream where the devil
You remember like
showed up
Scrooge
and
from
presented
the
him with a deal. The devil would
Christmas
become
Carol.
his teacher and impart on him everything he knew about music. Yes. Once Tartini had learnt everything he could,
Is this what
he handed
Delvin out
over his
Georgia was kinda
violin
like?
and asked the devil to play. The
Played
devil
Doom-
played
Doom
the
music on, like, the
greatest
first level.
musical piece that Tartini had ever heard. Tartini woke up with a gasp, and he tried to recreate what he had heard.
No,
in the
I
dream.
also love his
And
editing.
what
It's so
he wrote
good.
down was his most famous piece, the best thing he had ever
Which one?
written.
This is one of few
And he said,
classical
"This
pieces I actually haven't
is
heard.
shite compared to the original. This is
I like
nothing
classical
better
music.
than a tribute." And that's where you get the Tenacious D song from. He named this piece The Devil's Trill. And he claimed that the difference
We have our
between
own
his version
song like
and
this.
the version in the dream was so
it's a
great
Midsummer
that he would have
kind of
smashed his
song.
violin and
Forgot
quit
the name of
music
it.
forever.
You can
had
search
he
it
not
with like one of
needed
the
what was
dollar
gone.
songs, I think, Varmas.
Classical,
I don't know.
1750 to
Look at
1850.
me, Little Sweden.
Mozart and Beethoven show up like... da,
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 da.
da. Now, Beethoven was famously known for going deaf. Once that happened, everyone told him that he should just quit music forever. But he just
I thought
wouldn't
Beethoven
hear it.
Virus was like a real
Anyway,
theme
there's so much
that
I
he
could say
made,
about
but I
these
couldn't
two.
find that.
And
Apparently, it didn't.
Romantic era. Now that's when everybody started kissing, and it's my favorite. Great piece. Mwah. Oh, you played
Mwah.
wonderfully too. Mwah. We also enjoyed listening. Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. All you need to know about
Well,
this
wait,
one
what else
is
did
Chopin
Mario?
and Berlioz.
Hold on, hold on. Was it Luigi and Mario?
Mwah. Mwah, 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 mwah. All you need to know about this one
I
is
saw the way you
Chopin
guys
and
picture.
Berlioz. Berlioz, however, was not getting any kisses. He was relatably, painfully
shut up.
single, living alone in Paris, the city of love. So,
I
here's
wonder
how it
if
started.
Paris
He's
is
there,
still
and he's in his
considered
early 20s,
city of love.
and he is looking for a new GF. So one day, he attends a Shakespearean play. And on stage, he spots an actress, and he
yet.
immediately falls in love with her. He wrote her
Blushing.
many notes, confessing his love. But her DMs went unreplied.
Was it like early Tinder?
So he began writing a symphony about her. Ah, how can she ignore this?
Get yourself a
Also, around
man
this
who
time,
would
he
write
started
yourself a
smoking a lot of
write your
opium, but
symphony.
don't
Don't
worry about
settle for less.
Anyway, so he wrote this piece just for her. However, his DM still went unreplied. For several months, he started to get quite disheartened.
What woman does not want a symphony? I want a symphony.
Until he saw another girl.
What's up with
So
men
he
not writing
immediately
symphonies
fell in
anymore?
love with her instead, and he said, "You know what? I'm going
That's
to
what-
change that symphony I
Why
wrote.
does it-
So
why
now
does it
it's about this
smoking?
other lady, and not about that ugly one that I didn't like anyway." This time, happily, she reciprocated,
incel?
and they fell in love and were set to marry. Suddenly, what the fuck? Phones haven't been invented yet. Yes, hello, I'm busy. Oh,
How did they contact
Rome?
him?
To study? Absolutely.
Was it
I'll
like
catch the
parchment
first flight
travel,
out.
like
So
letters?
Berlioz went to Rome to study music. However, while he was away, he got some news.
Berlioz,
Was this also a letter?
I have to tell you something.
I'm a horrible texter.
Sacre bleu. Some other, more handsome musician swooped in and married his girl while he was in Rome, and they ran away together. Berlioz was furious, and he set his mind to solving the
I used to have
problem.
like a couple like that.
I know what I'm going to do.
They're horrendous to move.
I'm gonna murder her and her lover. And her mom.
What?
And then I'm gonna do
Wait,
a
the
self-
escalation! Wait, why is the mom?
All right, so
What
this
did
gets
Mom
pretty
do?
elaborate. His idea is to dress up as a housemaid. He has bought both poison and
Oh,
two
he
guns.
didn't like her. It was
Now,
like a
he's
little
going to
text on
sneak
there.
into the house
That
of
he
his
didn't like her.
ex-fiancée, and there she
So,
and
anyway, is
her
that
mother
from-
will be sipping tea, which he has already poisoned. Then he will pull off the clothing and reveal himself. Blam, blam.
That is so
sad
drastic, though.
so he heads back home to Paris to do it. But while on his travels there, takes quite a while, he has to change carriages. And when he does that, he leaves the guns in one of the little cubbies. So he's lost all his weapons. What is he going to do now?
He
Well, his next
failed.
leg on the stop is Genoa. And he decides,
Italy.
let's just skip the murder and go straight to the finale. So he stops off in the port city of Genoa, and he's there at the side of the Mediterranean. He pauses for a moment,
Yes.
then he throws himself in. Now, some people see this
Like with
whole
suit
thing
and
happen,
all?
and they think he's had an accident, so they run in to try to save him. They pull him to the
Good
shore.
Italians coming to save y'all.
He lived. So he has now reached his lowest point. He dejectedly continues home.
I wonder if he
gets
was
back
like
to
sad,
Paris,
wailing
and
in
he wallows
French.
around, feeling pretty sorry for himself.
Is he,
So he
I think he was,
decides-
isn't he French? Yeah.
You know what? I may as well do what I do best in times
I have no
of
idea
trouble.
why he was jumping. But he went to study in
Smoke
Rome for
a
2
lot
years.
of opium. And while I do
But
that,
he had
I shall
known like
write
some
a symphony.
Italian.
Although I ain't gonna name it after that hoe who stole my heart. And so he went back to work. But here's the thing. It was the greatest
opium.
piece he had ever written. And it premiered to a huge crowd. And you know what? It was a
Is what I
smash
know.
hit. #1 on iTunes. But then, and here's a bloody plot twist. Remember the first girl? Well, she attended that concert and she realized that Berlioz was a genius. And then she wrote a letter to your boy saying how good your bloody symphony was, and sorry about not replying, I just put my phone down and got
yes.
super busy or whatever. By the
As
way,
usual.
I love you. And so Berlioz goes, well, I love you too. And a year later, they were married. It's a beautiful moral of the story. See, fellas, don't jump in the Mediterranean. Anyway,
Happy ending.
a few years later they got divorced because weirdly he cheated on his wife with
Huh?
the housemaid. Not that one, a different one. But then he married that housemaid. Hooray!
Oh, so
then
happy
when he died
ending.
later
Kinda?
on, for some reason he gets buried with both of them. It's kind of strange. But moving on to the Impressionist musicians. Now that's Claude de...
Didn't he
what
make
now?
like the Battle of the Gladiators?
Claude what? You know
Or
what
was it
you've been a good
Hungarian
ad,
dance he made?
Alright guys, welcome back to the Nord Stream.
I
Today
love
we're
his
playing
commercial.
Assassin's Creed 3. Chat, come
Oh
on,
my god,
chat,
Assassin's Creed is like the only one I don't
everyone's
like.
spamming
I like all
Nord in the
like
chat.
1, 2, Brotherhood, Revelation.
Whoa, new follower! Hey, welcome to the Dream Team Sub Cream. Thank you so much for the great. Oh, unfollowed. Sorry, guys. The cleaners are here.
Oh, I need to
So,
play
just ignore
Fallout
the
4
mess.
again.
I haven't cleaned up these bottles yet. No, it's just tea. It's just tea. I stream for 10 hours a day, and it's like the algorithm is against me or something. How come everyone is watching Asmon's stream, and I'm not getting any new followers? I'm playing the games.
This is very common.
What more do you want me
Like
to do?
new streamers, they do that.
Just a quick word from the sponsor. NordVPN is the VPN that you can trust. So go to
had, like, NordVPN for, like, a moment.
nordvpn.com/internethistorian for a
I couldn't
huge deal
afford
on a
anymore.
2-year plan plus 4 bonus months for free, plus a 30-day money-back guarantee. My God.
It's like cool how this deal, I think.
Watching the new Snow White movie. I love the intro. Oh, I love seeing that Disney logo. That's brilliant.
Is this
brilliant.
like, is this
Guys,
like
I'm
a
just
new
gonna-
one,
I'm
or
just
is it
gonna
like
get up and get some
an
food.
older
I'll
one?
be back. I'll be back in a minute.
Because it's like, oh, this one is. Which one is this? I don't even know the new one that comes and goes.
Who
Is it like a
reported my
huntsman?
stream? Hello, my Nordlings. Welcome back to the stream. Can we get some ends in the chat, guys? No.
No, no, no,
Not
no,
like
no, no,
that.
no, 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 no.
Mods! Mods!
Not bad. That's bad.
The ASMR stream for NordVPN. Today I'm going to be drinking a can of Coke while I say the word.
Oh my god, this is so me for real, but with energy drink.
Nord. Hey, thank you for the tier 3 sub.
Maybe we should open
With
my things over there.
NordVPN, I can be outside my house, Jack's Films
Oh my
house,
god, I remember when the Jack Films had
Salito's
a thing.
house, Ordinary Things house. Just like that. Welcome back
I
to the
remember
hot
the
tub
Jack-
stream. What do you guys mean? How many hot dogs can I put in my mouth? Why? I'll just... Oh my god, $5,000 donation. Thank you so much. You guys are such good friends. Streaming's not for me. I'd rather go to nordvpn.com/internethistorian to
What
get
about
a
this on
huge
the
deal
way?
on a 2-year
I'm afraid
plan
I
plus
make
4
noise.
months
Oh,
for
I think.
free. Ad over. Watching Netflix, are you?
You're nothing.
All tucked in with a 3-hour essay on Good Game Good, and here's why.
Fallout New Vegas is actually the only based Bethesda game.
Turn that off. I've got something for you.
I like
much
New
less
Vegas, just my
enjoyable
PC doesn't
and
like New
far
Vegas.
more expensive. We're going to the theater.
The theater.
Theater, from the ancient Greek, theatron, the most dramatic of the Transformers. It means a place for viewing. Here's a Roman theatre. They were quite simple back then. You have the stage, the auditorium, and the vomitorium.
The
Now, for a very
vomitorium.
long time, people thought that the vomitorium was a place where the Romans would gorge themselves, where
now
they
and
would eat so much that they would throw up and then gorge themselves again because they were so decadent and or bulimic. But it comes from the word vomir, which means to spew forth, because that's where people go
Yeah.
in and out. So
Wouldn't it be like
vomitorium is
vomit
just a
actually means
dramatic way of
spew?
saying
So
the
technically,
entrance. Now, if you
vomitorium
skip
would be
forward to
kind of
the
like a
1800s,
spew, like a.
things are getting a lot more modernized, but they still didn't have electric. So they had what's called the limelight. And that's why they say to be in the limelight, to be the star of the show. What they would do was take a piece of quicklime and heat it up.
How did they
surface
figure
it
that
up,
out, though?
Which will naturally glow very bright. They would then take reflective
I feel like
mirrors
that's
and
also
lenses
quite
to
probably
focus
bad
the
for you,
beam, and they would
being
use that as
contact
an
with for a long
early
time.
form of the spotlight. The
No, probably a lot
limelight
of
is
things
not
back then
because it's
was.
green, but because it's made from quicklime. In the modern day, things are a lot more advanced, and they can do all sorts of cool shit with like lasers going into your eyeballs and all sorts of stuff.
Isn't that from like a movie?
It's not just the tech that's had an upgrade; it's
Also
the
known Resident
architecture
Evil
as
game.
well.
That's it.
In Elizabethan times, they had the yard, and you could get in here for about a penny apiece. And this is where all the poor people stood to watch the shows. It's like when you go to Oppenheimer and you end up with the worst seats in the IMAX theater, right? But thankfully, in modern times, we have fixed that problem. We kicked out all the poor people and we sunk the floor down low.
I was about to
and
say,
put
like,
in an orchestra pit.
can
Now,
we
these things
currently
are
have kept
usually
it?
6 to 12 feet deep.
Because imagine, like,
so
going
they're
to
not
theater
obstructing the audience
and pay a
from view.
little bit to go
But
there.
having a
At least you
giant
were able to
hole
go.
at the end of a stage is quite dangerous. So usually they put a big net there as well. And yet, a lot of people still get
That
pissed.
looks really thin.
Like a
Like,
lot of
look at
people.
it. She had barely anywhere to walk.
In 2011, during a production of The Sound of Music, one of the lead actresses fell into the orchestra pit and was left paralyzed from the waist down. In 2009, a conductor, not a superconductor, just a regular one, fell 14 feet into the dark pit and broke 9 vertebrae and 1 ankle. Mamma mia. And
Oh my
he
God.
fell on his pointy conducting thing. At the
Fucking-
Bolshoi
no, no,
Theatre,
no, no, no,
a
don't like
violinist
that.
died from his injuries after falling
Nah.
into the pit. This theatre is prone to all sorts of accidents, by the way. It's kind of cursed.
I wouldn't go there.
But performers and musicians aren't the only ones falling into the pit. In 1988, an 82-year-old man fell from his balcony box seating all the way down into the pit during a performance of Macbeth. He died.
No.
Very spooky. Even already dead people are getting pitted. In 2016, a man sprinkled his friend's ashes into the orchestra pit at the Met Theatre. This happened during the intermission, and it was a sort of tribute to a mentor of his. But of course, people went, "What the hell are you doing?" And he goes, "Oh, I don't know," and he flees the scene.
Didn't they
Everyone's
catch him
coughing
though?
and sneezing up dead guy, and people think, is this anthrax? What is this? So they call in the anti-terrorism police, and the whole show is cancelled for the rest of the evening.
He was not charged? Okay.
A quick intermission.
Okay.
Or is it? Ooh, Finitidi, I am the trap master. Not like that. Do
I'm
not
the
ask me to
Matilda.
reveal my secrets, woman. I have dedicated my life to the mysteries of the theater. Ah, the theater.
The
She
theater.
has so many enigmatic traps. Let us start with the most simple yet devious.
Isn't that what they
The
call
wall
nowadays
trap.
glissies? I
It
don't
allows
know.
the actor
I
to
remember
walk
like
directly into the set piece.
sound like a video of
Where
that.
did he go? Nobody knows.
That looked like hot
Cast your
dogs.
eyes over here to the genie trap. Now the victim stands on this dumbwaiter, and a counterweight launches their hapless body up onto the stage. Wheesh! In the olden days, this circle of flaps would sometimes go on top, and then that would make the whole thing just one way. Now, back when they made this thing, they didn't have hydraulics. So instead, they'd have like 6 stagehands pulling as fast as they could. And sometimes it would go totally wonky, or it wouldn't open properly, or they'd only get about halfway through. Oh, well, I guess that's it. There's only 2. Wrong! This is the vampire trap. And if I want to come back up again, this is called the sunroof trap. Very cool. Watch out for the closing doors on this one. It managed to trap Spider-Man's foot back into production in 2013. Me and the Green Goblin, we collabed on this one. All right, there's one more. The ghost glide. What you do is stand on this slidey bit, and it ascends diagonally, which makes it look like he's coming out of the ground. But the ladies are there yawning, they're going, ooh, short ghost. But then,
Ghost.
5 foot, 5'1", 5'2", all the ladies are turning
Wait,
their heads
yeah,
now.
I'm not. I think am I now 5'1"?
5'5". All the ladies are
Is he
low.
like one
Now, I bet you're wondering, what happens to
58?
the actors when they go down these
156 and
tracks?
59?
Are they dead and gone forever?
Maybe
Yes,
maybe
sometimes.
taller than me.
In 1888, Frederick Federici was playing the role of Mephistopheles in Faust at the Princess Theatre
I
in
haven't
Melbourne.
watched Faust.
As he descended the trap at the end of the play, "Goodbye, everybody, goodbye," he had a heart attack and died, never seen again. So as
That's
you can imagine, with
unfortunate.
this many deaths, the theatre has become a highly haunted place. Oh yes. In fact, sometimes you can put your ear right up to the wall and you can hear 2 male ghosts wrestling. Can't fake that. Ah,
It's
another
haunted.
ghost hole. Don't look inside. I did once. Almost went blind. That's why I wear
Is
the
there a hole?
mask. Anyway, because of all the
We
ghosts,
should
the
repair
theatres
that.
do whatever they can to keep the spirits happy.
I mean, like, there's already a lot of
It's
space in
called
American
a ghost
bathrooms.
light.
I have more
When everything
holes.
is closed, it is kept on always. Kept on
That's
for the
great.
ghosts, so that they don't, bump their shins in the dark or whatever. At the Palace Theatre in London, there has been some ghostly activity.
Of course,
Seems
yeah.
to be a bit of a hotspot for ghostly activities.
And that's why they always keep 2 empty seats at the back, so that the ghosts may sit there and watch the show.
So that's why we traditionally kept a couple of seats off sale for the ghosts. However, Harry Potter is so popular that we sell those seats now.
Oh.
Oh,
Also, most theatres close for 1 day per week, and on those days, the ghosts are left to perform for each other in their own shows. Which they like, we think.
I was worried about my own vagina. It
Oh,
needed a
finally,
context,
the vagina monologue.
a culture of other vaginas.
You know, I wasn't always part of the elite. In fact, from a very young age, I grew up in an orphanage.
oh no.
No, my parents weren't dead. Rent in that building was just really cheap. But my parents showed me no affection. And as soon as they could, they sent me off to boarding school. But boards were always their passion, not mine. I tried to run away, but they caught me. And boy, did they throw the book at me. Alas, I did not dodge in time. I spent the next few years in a coma. A Native American town, Pueblo, Acoma. And the people there taught me how to read American. They also had a local library.
I know American.
And I spent my days buried in books, learning as much as I could about the arts. And once someone noticed me buried under those books and they rescued me, I knew I wanted to teach
Is it a
default
literally,
character precepts
literally,
yourselves, all about
Journalist?
Shakespeare. Editor's note. I started Googling Shakespeare and I got kind of distracted, so I don't know. Here's a WAV file. You can do something with this. Put him in like a classroom or something. Alright, attention, everybody. I am your new teacher. You are a bunch of troubled inner city youths. All you know is shoot gun, fail test, and crime.
This
Now
is
I'm gonna
like
teach you that
what you see in
actually
most
books and reading and
movies
stuff
of
are
American
actually pretty
school.
epic, after all.
It's our High School Musical.
Now, the earliest known written
The
language
desks look like-
is what, Mr. Single Parent Household?
Wait, is it really like
I
a
don't know,
couple of
T, but
flags
you're never gonna
on the
get through to
walls?
me. Oh, really? Well, what if I go
You only have like
Back in
one map
time.
usually, which of the world map.
back in time? In the long, long ago, very few could read. But to be fair, most of the written languages were kinda shit. This is cuneiform, the very first written language, and it has far too much punctuation. Then eventually came along the Egyptians, and they invented emojis, but they would call them hieroglyphs. Anyway, the typical written thing would go like this. Message for you, sir.
In Sweden, they call him
Big bird,
hieroglyph.
man with stick. Man sitting. Circle. Oh, more bills. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Eventually that became quite annoying, so the Phoenicians, who were a kind of Lebanese, very progressive especially for those days, now they came up with a better idea. They started going,
It's like making the same joke
hey,
about
that sounds a
the
bit
island
like
of
an A.
Lesbos.
Buh, that sounds a bit like a B. Cool. And so on, until we had a proto-form of the alphabet. Now, the Greeks thought that was pretty neato, but they said, let's come up with an even better version with 22 letters, and soon that will be like English.
Ah,
Oral history. Greeks more like geeks. Got 'em. Oh, yeah? Well, let me tell you about something highly relatable. Of the surviving Greek works, the greatest hits were the Iliad and the Odyssey. Now, because most people
I like
couldn't
the
read,
Odyssey.
Hey. This
Isn't
stuff
Sinbad-
wasn't written down for a very long
Simba?
time. And instead, it was
No, that's not the
memorized
same
and
one.
performed. And when they performed it,
similar
they used
though.
one of these, a lyre. Now, this was great for conveying.
Is Odyssey the one
tone,
that
right?
goes
So
to the
here's a
Cyclops?
soft bit,
It is a nostalgia.
but then this is a big dramatic bit. Dun, 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 dun. Now, the Iliad starts with this guy, Menelaus, king of Sparta, and he has a wife, Helen, and she is a very fine lady. And then the Prince of Troy shows up. His name is Paris, and he goes, "Damn, shorty, awooga, awooga." Hey, that's what he'd say, right? And he and his boys abduct her and took her all the way back to his crib in Troy. Now this makes Menelaus quite miffed.
Hey, hold on there, Buster.
He declares a turf war, but he can't win it alone, so he calls on his homies. Odysseus, king of Ithaca, and Achilles, the best drive-by shooter of all time. But
Isn't
Achilles
Achilles
is
the
not
one with
in
the
mood
heel?
to fight, so the whole of the Iliad is basically spent trying to convince this guy to get involved.
Yeah, okay. Got the heel problem.
Eventually, they win the turf war by being very sneaky. They make a giant horse, which is the symbol of Troy, and they leave it at the front gate. That's their way of saying, "Oh, I guess you win. We're walking away
Remember,
now."
trust every horse
And
you
meanwhile,
get.
thousands of soldiers go off and hide in some bushes. And the Trojans are very suspicious, but they can see that the Greek ships are actually sailing away into the horizon. So they know, oh, it must be real,
Really?
must be real. We've won the many years war.
The seamless
But
music in the
actually,
back.
there's almost no one on those ships, and there's a surprise inside the horse. Later that night, when everyone's asleep, boiling hot tzatziki everywhere. And also some soldiers wearing thermal protection. They get out and they open the gates, and then everyone comes out of the bushes, running into the city, and kill everybody. After they win the war, Odysseus heads back home to Ithaca. However, on his way, he starts making beef with Poseidon, god of the sea. And Poseidon is mad
Don't
at
fight the
disrespect,
ocean.
so he sends Odysseus on a long-ass detour, and that detour is the story of the Odyssey. Pretty epic, right, kids? Whoa, Teach, that's fire. I'm starting to come around. That Odysseus guy is literally me. Yeah, I'm going to try
Me
that
for real,
horse
for
trick
real.
on my ops. Homer from Homer's Odyssey is not a character in the story.
What ops?
He's the guy who tells the story, and then people wrote it down. Now, moving chronologically to the next big one, you've got the Bible. And for all practical purposes, this was basically an oral tradition too. Most people were illiterate by this point, and the Bible was written in Latin, and pretty much only the clergy
Sense.
knew Latin. So they would be the one to recite it to people.
So the old
Says
like
that the cute
lettering
lady
is so
at the
cute.
front
Is
should
so
go on a date
pretty.
with me, please. Listen, the rules are the rules. I didn't say it. The book did.
There was a translated version into English, the Wycliffe's Bible, and you better believe that thing was a threat to the order. So they made that illegal to own.
Doesn't
And
even
if you were
exist
found
that
with
book
an
then?
unlicensed copy,
is-
the punishment would be death. So it remained. The Bible was read to the people. Now, by the 1300s came Chaucer, who wrote the Canterbury Tales,
Oh, yeah.
and that was a pretty big deal,
Get this book now.
because it's one of the first significant works written in Middle English. It describes a bunch of people making a pilgrimage from Southwark to Canterbury, which is here to here, which was the longest journey anyone had ever made in the 1300s. And now, it's a whole series of stories, and most of them can be boiled down to, how come if everyone is on a pilgrimage, you're all so focused on material stuff? Oh, hypocrites much? Dong. It's now the 1600s, and they've updated all the textbooks from Middle English to regular. In 1601, King James I said, all right, you know what? Let's everyone have a copy of the
Oh, the
Bible they
white,
can read.
the like white
Let's do a
floof they
King
have.
James
Royal
Bible.
had in
I won't
the
feature in it, but I'd love to be
the British
title.
Royal.
And he commissioned a committee of scholars
The white and
to
black.
rewrite the thing in English, God's language.
English.
It took 8 years. And that brings us to Shakespeare. And
We
he's
have like a book
huge deal.
in really old book
Oh, look, we're out of
in
time.
Old Norse.
But sir, we're supposed to do penis inspection day today. No, there's no time. Roll the end card. The end. Alright, that's the lesson. You watched the whole video. Or at least
Yeah.
you had it on in the background while you
I was
scrolled
I was
your
watching.
and I couldn't be prouder of you. There's just one more quick thing I want to tell you about. Theatre props. For example, this gun. Now, the thing...
I am not gonna trust him with that. I don't think. I'll bet it's over anyway. That's okay. Oh my. Let's see. That's good though. Like, I want to watch the other parts as well, but I will not put up so many reaction videos. But it was really fun to react to. I will look for other videos also to look at. If you have suggestions, I will also look at other things. But right now, at least, these are like some, I don't know. I've seen a lot of other stuff like funny sort of it. But thank you guys. Bye bye.